Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I am super beyond excited for this video because for one, I just got back from my vacation literally like a few hours ago. Like I drove like 9 hours today, but I just could not wait to do my makeup, of course, because I'm a makeup lover. And I was just so excited because I got 2 palettes in the mail today. I was literally 2 seconds into this video, my oil heater turned on. Anyways, what I was saying is that today we're going to be doing a little battle of the yellow palettes because both of these palettes are monochromatic 9-pan yellow palettes, similar price point, and I just thought we would go through. I'm going to swatch both of the palettes and then I'll do like a quick little like comparison thing to show the shades that are the closest, because obviously like with 2 monochromatic yellow palettes, it's like how much yellow can you do? So I'm going to try and show the similarities, the differences, and then I'm going to go ahead and do Colourpop on one eye and Midas Cosmetics on the other eye. Hopefully if you are someone torn between these 2 palettes, this will help today. I'm sorry I'm chattering so much. Let's just go ahead and jump on in. So I guess I'll start with the Lemonade palette. This is from Midas Cosmetics. It's a like white background, yellow details. I personally would have liked it more if it was yellow with white details because I feel like that would have stood out more in my collection. It does have all the ingredients on the back. It also says it's cruelty free and it has a 24-month shelf life. I did not see anything about it being vegan, and also on the back and on their website I cannot find how much product is in this palette, so I'm going to reach out to the brand, and if they answer I'll leave it in the description box for y'all. It does have a mirror, and then here's all 9-pan colors. I don't know, I feel like this just got me because I really love the shimmer options here, like these two. Such a beautiful like just full yellow, and even though not everything in this palette is like completely yellow, like there's like this mustardy brownie shade, and I don't know, I just feel like it all fit together really well. Unfortunately the names are not on the palette, they're just on the back. It does retail for $19, and you can also use affiliate codes to save some money off. I personally just use Smoky Glows code. I definitely don't want to forget to mention that Midas Cosmetics is a small indie brand and also Lone of Color owned, which I think is super awesome. So now moving on to the Colourpop Honey palette. Just looks like this. Super cute packaging. I really love the name. It retails for $12 and you can sometimes get a discount. I really love the packaging on this. I think it's just because it's yellow, but personally I prefer a cardboard packaging over the plastic. So here's what the back looks like. It has all the names, and then it is cruelty free. It doesn't list the shelf life here. It has 9 times 0.90 grams of product, and it also has a mirror. Just looks like that, and then here you can obviously see the color scheme. It's so cute, and I really love the names. Alright, so obviously you can see why I want to compare these 2 palettes because they are so similar in so many different ways, but now we're going to go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty and start swatching. Alright, so starting off with the Lemonade palette. Ooh, feels super smooth. Ooh, so pretty. That's one of the shades that like drew me in the most because you guys know how I am about inner corner shades. Got like a yellow shimmer that looks a little more sheer, we'll see, and then a shade right here. They feel super creamy and smooth. Love that shade. True yellow shimmer and like a true yellowy matte. All right, next we've got like a yellowy gold, a like greeny yellow matte, and then like a brighter true yellow. The other yellow is a little more pastel. Shimmers feel really beautiful. Ooh, that is bright. The next row we've got like an orangey yellow matte. Again, all of these feel super creamy. We've got like a true gold. Ooh. And then like a mustardy brownie shade. Ooh. Alright. Okay. Honestly, I would say first impressions, they look really good. I've never tried anything from Midas before. Right, there's a quick little close-up in the most awkward arm position ever. Alright, jumping into Colourpop, we've got like a light, like really pale yellow shade. A like lighter, oh, okay, It's a yellow blue shift, kind of like Cleona's Soul. If you start hearing people talk about this palette and they just talk about this one shade, because I'm already sold on this one shade, and you don't want to buy a whole palette for one shade, Cleona's Soul is like, it's exactly like this. It's just a yellow with a blue shift, and it is beautiful. One of my favorite shades. Next we have Sweet Spot, which is kind of like a pale yellow. Kind of like an in-between. Oh my lord. I love that shade. Alright, next we have Dandy, which looks like a true gold. But that's pretty yellow. That's really beautiful. We've got Palooza, which is a pressed glitter. I was actually curious about this because I haven't tried any Colourpop pressed glitters. I'm not a huge pressed glitter fan. This actually has like a yellow-green shift to it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Pressed glitters aren't so bad if you have a glitter glue. Alright, next we have this shade, which is kind of like a bronzy, yellowy shade. Ooh, that looks pretty beautiful. I mean, I would say that's a gold with a heavy, heavy yellow undertone. I don't know if I would call it a complete yellow, but it's almost there. Alright, there's Palooza. Ooh, that actually looks really beautiful. Almost has like an orange shift to it. That shade's pretty much a true, like, antique kind of gold. At least compared to all these super bright yellows, it looks kind of antique. Okay, the more I look at the Palooza glitter, the more I'm like, wow, that's actually so beautiful. It almost has like a pinky, like, oh, that's really pretty. Okay. Next we have Totally Buggin', which they're kind of bugging to put this shade in here because it's like it's a brown. Like it's a soft, warm brown. I guess, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it has a little bit of an orange undertone, but that's definitely not what I would have put in here personally. And then we've got like a pretty true bright yellow, and we've got Buzzkill, which is like a really soft brown. All right. I do like the deepening shade more in the Midas Cosmetics palette. It has a little bit more depth to it. This is very, very soft. So I feel like any look you create with this is going to be a soft look unless you pull in other palettes. I personally have no problem doing that, but I just wanted to mention the difference. Alrighty. Here's what the shades look like a little bit closer. I think that they're super beautiful. I'm trying to figure out the best, most organized way to quickly show you comparisons between both palettes and the shades that are similar between both of them. So I'm going to start off with the Midas, and I'm going to go through every shade and swatch the ones that are similar to the Colourpop one, and then I'll go through the Colourpop and I'll mention the shades that are left over that I felt like there was nothing comparable. So starting off with the Midas Cosmetics palette, there's this like light shimmery shade, this white shade, which there's nothing comparable. Then there is a true yellow shimmer, I feel like there's nothing comparable. And then there is a lighter yellow matte. And I'm going to compare that to Sweet Spot in the Colourpop palette. So there is Midas and there is Colourpop. Next we've got this like true like yellowy gold shade. I'm going to compare that to Dandy in the Colourpop palette. See, Dandy looks so much brighter. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take the true yellow and I'm going to swatch both of those from Midas just to see. I feel like neither of them are that similar. Okay, there's Midas, and there's Colourpop. So there's like the like medium shimmer options in Midas, and then this one looks a lot more gold in comparison with those two. Next in the Lemonade palette, we have this green matte, which there's nothing similar, and then we have like a really bright true yellow, which I'm going to compare that to Oh Behave from the Colourpop palette. So there's Midas, and there's Colourpop. I'm sorry, but Midas is 100% winning that little battle. Alright, next we have the warm orangey matte shade. And I'm going to compare that to Totally Buggin' in Colourpop. So there's Midas, and there's Colourpop. Ooh. Next we have that like intense gold. And I'm going to compare that with Queen Bee from Colourpop. I don't know why I keep like saying the name over and over. It's like obvious. But here is the Lemonade. And here is the Honey. Those are probably the most similar shades thus far. Last but not least, we've got the brown. All right, here is Midas. Here is Colourpop. All right, so those are the comparisons of the shades that are similar. I feel like there's actually not that many shades. The only one truly similar is the like true gold shade right here. Shades I find not dupable in here would definitely be the shade Stinger. It's like a super light yellow that's not in the other shade or in the other palette. The shade right here called Sunburst, that yellow blue shift, so beautiful, not in the other palette. The pressed glitter, obviously not in the other palette. And I think that's it. So I'm going to go ahead, wipe off all these swatches, and we can zoom on in and do an eye look. Alright, I'm starting off with the Lemonade palette, and I'm going to take this yellow right here, which is kind of like a lighter yellow. And I promise I'm going to try and be as fair as possible with like using the same amount of product between both eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and use that as my, I don't know where that came from, as my transition shade today. I'm just going to go ahead and pop that right into my crease and just blend. Good amount of pigmentation, blending easily, no problems thus far. Using my color switch between each eye so that I don't transfer any product, and so it is completely each palette on its own. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Sweet Spot, the lighter yellow in the Colourpop palette. How did I get glitter there? I haven't even applied the glitter. Again, just going to go ahead and apply that in my crease. I would say these two shades come off pretty similar on the eye. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and grab the super bright yellow with a more precise brush, getting just a tiny bit of kickback, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that into my crease. So that is super bright. Color me impressed. I'm going to go back with my previous brush and just lightly blend the edges. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and grab Oh Behave, the brighter yellow in this palette. Although it doesn't look to be a true yellow, this doesn't really have any kickback at all, which is surprising because a lot of times the Colourpop eyeshadows do. But I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in my crease as well. I don't know, guys. I feel like right off the bat you can tell that it's a little bit more of a subdued, like orangey yellow, whereas this one's more of a true yellow. Again, just going with my previous brush and lightly blending out the edges. I feel like both of them are blending just fine. Right now I'm going to go ahead and dip into a little bit of the brown. And I'm going to go ahead and use that to deepen my outer V. Just going to try and keep it like right here. I don't want to bring it in too far, because I want that yellow to stay super bright, which actually maybe when I'm done blending and everything, I'll add another layer of that bright yellow just to keep it to that just crazy opacity. Now grabbing Buzzkill, gonna try and grab the same amount. Just gonna go ahead and throw that on my outer V. Same placement, literally, but this is definitely less. Alright, so like I said, I'm gonna actually just take all that product off, and again, I'm gonna go in with the super bright yellow from both palettes. Just gonna grab a little bit more, and I'm just gonna refresh this because I just want it to be as popping as possible. Alright, for the lid, I'm gonna go into that true, just like bright gold shade, and I'm going to put that all over the lid. I'm just gonna start off with a brush. I wasn't sure what brush would work best for Midas Cosmetics because I haven't used them before, but this one is working really well. And this is super foiled and beautiful. I might have to go back in with my outer V shade. Real quick before I go to the other eye, I'm just going to add a little bit more of the brown and just make sure that like part right here is blended. Now grabbing Queen Bee. Honestly, those shadows apply like identical. Just gonna add a touch more brown on this side, making sure it's blended equally. I honestly got just the tiniest little amount of fallout on both sides, and it looks like it's from the shimmer shade. Alright, now for the lower lash line, I'm gonna jump into this orangey shade, and I'm gonna pop that along the lower lash line, like I literally just said. Now I'm gonna grab Totally Buggin', and I'm gonna pop that along the lower lash line. For the front of the lower lash line, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this True Little Gold right here, and I'm just gonna pop that on right here, just for a little bit of shimmer. And I'm gonna grab Dandy, and I'm gonna pop that on right here. Ooh, that's intense. I like that. Alright, so I think that is everything for the like comparison sake. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly finish up my eyes. I'm gonna use the Ardency Lemon Liner. How perfect is that for the Lemonade palette? And then just some Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and I'll be right back to tell you guys my final thoughts. So I did mascara real quick, but I wanted to actually finish off my cheeks and my lips with y'all just in case you were curious what I end up using, and I actually want to use a shade from one of the palettes to highlight. So I'm going to start off with Alamar Cosmetics Medium Tan Blush Trio, and I'm just going to grab this like peachy shade called Seclusion. Just grabbing a tiny little bit, and I'm just going to like fluff that on my cheeks. I don't want to add too much color, but just want just a little bit of warmth. Alright, from the Lemonade palette, I'm going to take this like whitey gold shade. That's pretty. It's like a soft settle, just a little bit of gold to it. I don't know why I'm getting so red right now, but I'm going to go ahead and finish up with my Colourpop gloss in the shade Moonchild. Alright y'all, so this is the finished look, and I personally feel like if I went out in public, no one would be questioning me or thinking like, wow, why does she have two different eyeshadow palettes on her eyes? Like, I feel like they look close enough, I could definitely get away with it, but I feel like I can see the subtle differences in the palettes, and I think that they both performed really well. I had no performance issues. They were pigmented and blendable, and I have nothing bad to say about the quality from what I've tried so far. Obviously, this is just a first impression, not a review by any means. I feel like I can definitely look at them and kind of recommend them for different people, and I don't know, I feel like when you first see the palettes, it's like, ooh, two yellow palettes, but after playing with them and swatching them and seeing them in person, I can definitely see the different color stories that are going on within the yellow spectrums. I would say for someone looking for a true yellow palette, I would probably recommend the Lemonade palette because I think this just has more true yellow tones in it. I think this has a little bit more of a like range as far as depth goes. There is some really light shade, which I would love to put on the inner corner, and there's also a shade that's a little bit darker. I feel like on the eye they look similar, but I definitely could have tried and built this up more and seen what would happen. But from like lightest to darkest, like I said, I feel like there's a little bit more depth. This bright yellow is so beautiful. Like, it is so bright. Like, I feel like that is like the biggest difference, that true bright yellow. The yellow in the Colourpop palette is a little bit more of an orangey yellow. It's not a true yellow. I like the lighter yellow. I think it makes for something really nice for blending. It does have an orangey shade, but again, it's super yellow. I love how that one looked on the lower lash line. I think that if you're, like I said, I feel like I'm being a little bit repetitive, but if you're looking for a true yellow palette, this is it. I like the color story here. I like the different shades they chose. I like the kind of greeny yellow. That's definitely my vibes. I can't wait to use that. And I'm just overall super happy with this. And I feel like as far as the uniqueness of the shadows, there's nothing like super crazy in here that I've never seen before. I think I could definitely dupe this with shades that I already have in my collection. If I just put out like a plethora of palettes, I could probably just do the same exact look. But for someone who doesn't have as many palettes, or you don't have as much yellow, I think this could be a great addition to your collection. So moving on to Honey, I have to say, I think with the matte shades, I'm a little bit disappointed in here just as far as the color range goes, because they're just not true yellows. Like, this is kind of like a pastel-y yellow. That one's fine, but like the brownie shade. And then this one I wish there was more depth to. And then this yellow has a lot of like mustardy undertones to it, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just not a true yellow. So I feel like if you're someone who has a lot of neutral palettes and you have a lot of palettes that have like a pop of yellow here, a little bit of warmth there, I think you could probably dupe most of this super easy. I don't know, if you're someone who loves neutrals and you want just a little pop of yellow, this might work for you. If you're intimidated by yellow, this might work for you. If you just love Colourpop palettes and you like collecting them, then you'd probably like this. I have no problem with it. I just find that it's not as true yellow as the Lemonade palette. So that's who I would recommend it for, or Winnie the Pooh. Although I will say that there are two shades in this palette that I find really unique, which I appreciate, which the first one, obviously you already know, that yellow blue duochrome I love. Also the glitter I think is really, really beautiful. I haven't played with it. I don't know what to think about it, but I would say those two shades are what kind of adds something different to this palette that I really appreciate. Okay, really quickly, I'm gonna take a thumbnail picture so I can do like the little comparison thing, and then I want to dress up these eye looks using the shades that I find unique in the palette, just so you can see where you can kind of make it a little bit different. I just thought that would be fun to add. I'm sorry if this video is forever long. I'm definitely gonna have timestamps. All right, grabbing the Lemonade palette really quickly, I'm gonna put a touch of the light yellow onto the inner part of the lid, and then I'm going to highlight with this white shade. Just gonna add a little bit more yellow right here, just over the gold, so it probably won't show up as yellow. Just popping the white on. Ooh, I picked up way too much, but that is intense. How beautiful. I think I'm also gonna grab just a touch of that green. Just for the heck of it, I'm gonna like put it on, I guess right here, maybe. Blend this area out. That's such a pretty shade. I feel like on camera you're not really going to be able to see the difference, but it blends into that brown so well, and just, I appreciate the touch of green there. I think it works. Alright, now grabbing the Colourpop palette, I'm going to grab a touch of Stinger. I'm actually going to blend that just a touch, just as like a neutral little transition moment. I'm going to go ahead and grab Sunburst, and I'm going to pop that onto my inner corner. I already know that this is gonna be, oh yes, a beautiful inner corner color. That is stunning. I feel like the inner corners don't look that different, but this one is definitely way prettier in person with the little, that little duochrome shift. All right, last but not least, you know I have to do it. I'm gonna grab a touch of my glitter primer, throw it down on my lid, and then I'm going to put some Palooza on top. Just gonna tap that over everything. Now dipping into Palooza with that same brush. It's picking up a little bit weird. Oh wow, it's very chunky glitter. Actually, I didn't get any fallout at all. That is really beautiful. It's a little chunky. I really hope that it is completely eye safe, because that kind of freaks me out. But wow. That's beautiful. So I guess, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I feel like both of the palettes are so beautiful in their own right. If you want more interesting shimmers, maybe go for the Colourpop. And if you want more interesting mattes, maybe go for the Midas. But overall, I like them both. I'm happy to use them both. If you'd like me to do a tutorial using both at the same time and kind of using the best of both, I think that would be super fun. Just let me know if you'd like to see it, and I'll get to it eventually. So I think that's everything to say that I have to say for this video. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.